When you hear the name Cleopatra, what comes to mind? A beautiful seductress, the lover of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But Cleopatra was so much more than just a romantic figure. In ancient gossip, she was Egypt's last true pharaoh, a brilliant strategist, a master of languages, and a queen who dared to defy Rome. Today, we're uncovering the forgotten legacy of Cleopatra beyond the romance. Cleopatra VII Philippa was born in 69 BCE in Alexandria, the capital of Ptolemaic Egypt. Her family, the Ptolemies, were actually of Macedonian Greek descent, ruling Egypt after Alexander the Great's conquest. Yet Cleopatra was different. While her ancestors ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years without bothering to learn the native tongue, Cleopatra became the first in her dynasty to speak fluent Egyptian. She also mastered Greek, Latin, Hebrew, and possibly even Ethiopian and Persian. She was a student of philosophy, medicine, astronomy, and economics. Highly educated in a male-dominated world. This wasn't just a queen in golden robes. This was a woman who read Plato and debated with scholars. Cleopatra took the throne at just 18 years old, alongside her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII. But Egypt, at that time, was struggling, bankrupt, politically unstable, and caught in the growing shadow of Rome. She was exiled in a palace coup, but didn't give up. Instead, she smuggled herself back into Alexandria inside a rug, famously presented to Julius Caesar. That moment has become legendary, but more importantly, it marked the start of a political alliance. With Caesar's help, she returned to power, secured Egypt's throne, and stabilized her kingdom. She navigated Rome's ambitions, local rebellions, famine, and war, while keeping Egypt officially independent. When people talk about Cleopatra, they often focus on her love life. Yes, she had famous relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, two of the most powerful men in Roman history. But these weren't just romantic love stories, they were smart political moves. Let's look at why Cleopatra chose them. Cleopatra had just returned to Egypt after being thrown out of power by her brother. She needed help to get her throne back. So, she formed an alliance with Julius Caesar. He was one of the most powerful Roman generals, and Rome was becoming stronger and more involved in Egypt's affairs. Cleopatra met Caesar in Alexandria in a bold and clever way. It's said she had herself wrapped in a carpet and carried into his palace. This surprised him, and it worked. He helped her defeat her brother and put her back on the throne. Soon after, Cleopatra gave birth to a son, Caesarion, whom she said was Caesar's child. But again, this wasn't just about love. It was about protecting her rule and securing Egypt's place with the Roman Empire. After Caesar's death, Cleopatra had to make another tough decision. Rome was now ruled by three men, and Mark Antony controlled the eastern part of the empire, including Egypt. So Cleopatra formed a new alliance, this time with Antony. They worked together politically and also became romantic partners. They had 3 children together, but more importantly, they shared a plan. They wanted to create a new empire in the East, with Egypt as a major power not ruled by Rome. They saw themselves as the new Antony and Cleopatra of legend, powerful rulers, not just lovers. But Rome didn't like this. Octavian, who was rising as Rome's next leader, used their relationship as a weapon. He told the Roman people that Cleopatra had taken control of Antony, and that she was a dangerous queen from the east. He painted her as a manipulative woman, to justify going to war against her. Cleopatra didn't fall in love just to find happiness. She made these alliances to protect her kingdom and her son. She wanted to keep Egypt strong and independent, while Rome was trying to take over. She was not just a lover, but a queen fighting for survival. Octavian didn't just want to defeat Antony, he wanted to destroy Cleopatra's influence. So, in 31 BCE, a huge naval battle took place. The Battle of Actium, Cleopatra and Antony brought their combined Egyptian and Roman forces. Octavian attacked them with his powerful navy. During the battle, things got messy. Cleopatra and her ships retreated early, and Antony followed her, leaving their soldiers behind. This decision caused them to lose the battle badly. After this, Octavian's forces began marching toward Egypt. Back in Alexandria, Cleopatra and Antony knew the end was near. They had lost their army, their allies, and their support. Soon after, Mark Antony heard a false rumor that Cleopatra had died. Heartbroken, he fell on his sword and later died in Cleopatra's arms. Now Cleopatra was alone, and she knew that. Octavian was coming for her, rather than be paraded through Rome as a prisoner. Cleopatra chose to die on her own terms. She locked herself in her tomb, dressed in royal clothes, and took her own life. The story says she used a poisonous snake, an asp, to bite her. But some historians believe she might have taken poison instead. She died at the age of 39, proud, defiant, and still a queen. After Cleopatra's death, Octavian entered Egypt and took control. He killed Cleopatra's son, Caesarion, and ended the rule of the pharaohs. Egypt became a Roman province, ruled by Rome. From then on, Cleopatra's death marked the end of ancient Egyptian rule. After thousands of years of kings and queens, Roman writers like Dio Cassius and Horace shaped her image, not as a leader, but as a temptress. But in reality, Cleopatra was a ruler who kept Egypt independent for 2 decades. Even today, she is remembered as a symbol of resistance, intelligence, and power, especially in Egypt, where she is honored as one of the greatest monarchs in history. Her face appeared on coins, temples, and statues. Her story still challenges modern ideas about gender, politics, and identity. Cleopatra was more than a footnote in Roman history. She was the last pharaoh of an ancient civilization, a skilled politician, and a leader who stood against empire. Her true legacy lives not in seduction, but in strength, intellect, and ambition. It's time we remember her, not as a lover, but as a queen who refused to bow to Rome. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more Untold history.